Is it working? Did we do it? It was touch and go there for a second. I was not super confident that this one would start. And you know what? I'm not super confident that we're going to make it all the way through. We are getting some choppy feedback from YouTube. If it looks good from your end, if it sounds good from your end, then I'm happy. But you're going to have to let me know that. You're going to have to let me know. For those of you who are here on time, thank you very much. I appreciate you being here. I will send you a gift in the mail. Just send me your address, your bank number. No, just kidding. Yes. Anyway, we're here. We're here. We're going to wait a sec for people to come in. If you're not here live and you're watching it after the fact, make sure you click click subscribe, and you'll never miss one again. Click the bell if you want to be extra certain. But we're not here for that. We're here to edit some photos. No data. Stream is healthy. It looks okay. All right. Looks okay. We're just going to cruise for a second. Let me know if things are weird. Drop a line in the chat if anything's going on that shouldn't be going on. If you see my face in crisp 1080p at 30 frames, then we're good. If you don't, then we got an issue and you need to let me know in the chat. I don't really want to open up the stream on my phone mid-stream. Might suck up some internet. Who knows? I don't know how that works. Your guess is as good as mine. Anyway, let's take a look. Let's take a look at what we're going to edit. So, all right there. One click of the button and we're back. It's the hero shot from last week's stream that we never got to. Last week's stream, we went over some pretty rad stuff of this 964 plowing through the snow. I had a good time, but what we didn't talk about is the hero shot, where there's no movement. It's just a pretty portrait of a car. And what a pretty car it is at that. We are in excellent condition now, it is saying. Okay, I trust it. What a pretty car it is at that. The hero shot is going to be comprised of 5 photos. I will show you how to blend them together. This was all shot with one light, by the way. You don't need like 8 lights. You don't need 3, 4, 5. You don't need more than one. You just need one, a tripod, and some patience. And I can show you how to create a pretty badass photo. And you need a homie to hold the light for you, apparently, in this one. That's Steven. This is his car. And these are my photos. It was such a shame because we shot these photos about like 50 meters away from these trees. You can kind of see them back there, but they didn't stand out enough. So I figured I would just take a separate photo of the trees and cheat. Straight up. A lot of patience. Yeah. The patience is key for this kind of photography. And a lot of planning. You have to sort of understand exactly where you want the lights, where it's going to make sense. For example, this frame, I still wanted to keep some shadow in here and some shadow in the hood here, just so you would get a bit of contour on the car. But this would be the key light, the main light, and then this would be the second. I really like this. I mean, we could go without it, right? I have a frame without it where it's really clean and you have no shadow or reflection here at the bottom. But I might mix the two and get something kind of goofy and weird. That's what I did for the original hero shot, so who knows. Then I also have a few others just in case we have time. Might be a short stream, we'll see. But it is Wednesday, my dudes, and that is stream day. So yeah, let's start with the hero shot. Where do we start? The white balance is way off. I think I left it on auto for some reason. I don't know why. But let's start by balancing out the lens profile. Let's change some of these things. Enable profile corrections. And what that's going to do is make sure that our camera's telling as flat and perfect of a story as possible without the characteristics of the lens getting in the way. This was shot on the 16-35 at 33 millimeters on the Sony A1, which I have right here in my hands. Don't know if you can see it. I'm still in tiny screen mode. I'll show you it between edits. Oh my God. Yeah, that lens is heavy at full arm's length. Anyway. Yeah. Here we go. So, first things first, highlight all of them. Oh, you know what? I wonder if we can change the white balance here. Let's see. Can we just match? So 7,300, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to bring it to this one anyway. So 6,450 and plus 10 on the tint. This we can change pretty easily. 10, and then this 6,450. There you go. Now it should match a little bit better. And let's just do it again to this one, because these are all going to be in the same shot. 6,450 and plus 10 already. Cool. Then I'm pumped. Yep. Highlight all of them. Right click, edit in, open as layers in Photoshop. So Photoshop is already open. Hopefully this won't take 20 minutes. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. Either way, that gives us time to hang out together. Let's go to full screen mode. And I'm going to tell you real quick, this photo was shot on the Sony A1, not with this lens. It was shot with the 16-35 f2.8 Boss lens. This camera, first time I used it was to shoot these photos. I really like this camera. Ooh, it's a little bit heavy. Not the camera. Camera's fine, but the lens is a little bit heavy. Ooh, it's struggling. Come on, computer. All right, let's go back and let's just watch Photoshop try not to kill my computer. Or my computer try not to die at the hands of Photoshop, because I'm sure it is trying to kill it. We do need to use the A1 more. We really do. We need to do this again, but with maybe a newer car. This kind of shoot. Exactly this kind of shoot. I think it'd be fun. But yeah, that A1. It's such a good camera. It's so overkill though. If you feel like you need the quality and the speed simultaneously rather than one over the other, it is like the only option. There's no one else making a camera like that. I am a Sony ambassador, so in a sense I am, yeah, I don't know. In a full disclosure, in a sense I am kind of paid to say this. But man, that camera, it's so good. Okay, how do we want to do this? We have all of our layers open. Let's start with just these. We'll bring in the tree and the headlights later. Let's start with just these. And a good place to start is just by, I don't think we need to align them. I don't think the camera moved that much. Let's do it anyway. So you highlight all of them. All the ones at least that were shot in the same spot. Oh my God, I got the hiccups. Usually when I talk too much this fast, I get the hiccups. Auto align layers. You'll get some options. I'm just gonna trust auto. Auto typically knows what they're doing. Typically. You never know for sure. So it is loading. The loading bar is stuck on a different screen. I'll put it here so you can watch it with me together. We're at about halfway. Here we go. Okay, cool. Oops. What? That was... Yeah, no, I'm gonna go ahead and undo that and just assume they're all they're all appropriately aligned, because the background is so messy, I think, and all like the light is coming from 10 different directions. I think it doesn't know what to do with it. But yeah, okay, let's start here. And we're gonna start by lightening each photo. So what this will do is it'll allow light from the layer below it to fill in the dark spots of the layer above it. So for example, if I want to allow the light from this photo to fill in the dark spot up here in this photo, I'm gonna click lighten and it will do that. It will lighten the photo. Funny enough. Then here, I don't think there's anything from this next layer that I really need except for the paint at the bottom of the car. So I wonder if lightning, let's see what happens. It just makes a mess. Normal. Yeah, it just adds, what it does do is it adds quite a lot of snow up there, which is kind of cool. A little bit more action, a little bit more drama. Nah, let's not do it. Let's not do it. We'll save that for another time. Okay, then we're off and running. We're off and running. One way we can add in this is by masking. So we're gonna add a mask to the top one, and I know I'm gonna be doing this super inefficiently, but that's just the kind of Photoshopper I am. So we're gonna brush that in, or mask it out actually, and then we're gonna mask out the layer below it. So now since we've masked the 2 layers above it, these 2, you see the little black spots in the layer mask? That should let in whatever is underneath it in this one. Pretty simple, easy as that. Not super complicated, but we're not super complicated people. One thing I don't really like is this like dark line going through the photo. And I wonder if I can get away with just doing like a really low opacity mask to sort of let in more from the layer below it and just even it out. And I can, it's not much. It's not much, but it just sort of like smooths that line out a bit because it creates a seam between these 2 top layers. So then, all right, don't get carried away, Kyle. Calm down. We're going too hard. Okay, then what we can try to, I don't like that. Let's not push it. Okay, cool. So pretty cool shot as it is. But there are some details that I still want in it. Before we do any color correction, I'm going to finish compositing the photo. So next detail I want is can I put these into a group? Does that make it nasty? It does not. So if I turn off the group, you see the headlights are properly exposed in this one and overly exposed in this one. I want to combine them. So what I'm going to do is take this group, add a mask to the whole group, and then hit that brush. Bring the brush down to size. And I'm just going to do this by hand. There's far more accurate ways to do this, but let's never let perfection get in the way of good enough. And then I'm just going to brush in what I want. Once again, we're working with masks. I'm not going to teach you the complete ins and outs of layer masks here. That's something Google knows a lot better than me. Than I do? Than me? What's the proper phrasing there? Anybody who knows how to speak English in the chat? By the way, if you guys are watching this and you aren't hanging in the chat, you can just type in whatever you want and I will read it. It's crazy. I'm not scared. No, we're all hanging in the chat. If you guys want to ask each other questions, you want to ask me a question, you just want to tell me about your day, I'm here for you. I'm about it. I know it's a little bit dark. I'm going to brighten it up a bit later. But for now, I'm just cruising. Just cruising. Big brush. A little bit sloppy. A little bit of a smaller brush. If I had more time, I would be a lot more accurate. I would also probably pen tool it out. Or if I was super responsible, what I would do is hit W and use the select tool and then just mask the hell out of that. But I'm not that kind of guy. I'm not that smart. As you guys can maybe tell, by the way, I hung up a light in the studio. How crazy is that? I am a certified electrician, one step closer to getting my forklift certification, because that's a meme, I think. So far, so good. It looks a little bit ugly, but I promise you, we're not done. Just hang in there. It will look better. It will look better. Also, you can remind me of how ugly it looks by joining the chat and dropping a line. Just say, hey, Kyle, that looks ugly. Let me congratulate you guys on Hump Day, by the way. We did it. We made it. I knew we could. Halfway through the week. We're so close to the weekend. So close to the end. That looks like total trash. All right, then what we're going to do. This is the layer that has the headlights in it. We're going to... Oh my God, that looked creepy. We're gonna do some fanciness. Okay, so adjustments. We want to brighten them. I'm just going to go with a normal brighten. And I'm gonna hit Alt and touch the space between the two. And that should apply to just this layer. So let's brighten it up so it becomes a little more believable. It's a little bit dark on the back one. Pretty dark, actually way, way, way too dark. So I'm gonna hit O, not 0, O, dodge tool. Let's leave it at mid-tones and let's see what happens. And I'm just gonna try to brighten it up using the dodge tool. Much better, try to go around the edges. There we go. You had no faith, but guess what? I did it. I did it. Photoshop master. Yeah, about that. I don't know if I agree. I'm just gonna blend it a little bit more with the dodge. There we go. Okay, cool. That's a good place to be. At least there's some sort of warm light coming out of the headlights. Now, here comes this part. The trees. You know what? I'm gonna stick the trees in front. Then, let's put them where I want them. Probably right about here. Let's mask out where I don't want them, which is on the car. I'm just gonna do solid line. And then, lighten. Yep. How did I do this before? How did I do this before? This is one of those things that just like, you lose it pretty easily. It wasn't screen. Was it soft light? That'd be weird. It would make it too saturated. Hard light's kind of cool. And then what I could do is get rid of... it might have to be soft light. All right, let's do soft light and then I'll just get rid of some saturation. So hue and saturation. Once again, Alt, and we're going to click. I'm using a Mac, by the way. And we're just going to toy with that. Just a little bit. Just so they're like ghosts in the background, right? So before and after. It does brighten it up quite a lot. So what I'm going to try to do is darken it. Can I just do that with this? A little bit. A little bit. That might have to be good enough. God, it brightens it quite a lot. What did I do on the original one? I don't remember how I edited that. Usually I go through these photos first. I edit them the way I want them without people looking at me. And then I go through it with people looking at me and I totally forget how I did it. That's not so bad though. It looks okay. I'm scared if I make it too dark, then you're just not going to see the trees. So what I'll do instead is bring back in the sky on top of it. Just like 100%. And then allow the soft lights blending mode to let the snow in from behind. That's a good way to do it. I'm okay with that. As long as it doesn't hit the car at all, I'm okay with it. It's not so bad. All right, let's stay there. Let's be happy with that, and let's move on with our lives. Let's start coloring the photo. You know exactly what I'm gonna do. If you've been here before, you know exactly how this goes. Painted blue steel. And then soft lights. And the soft light blend kind of hits everything a little bit too hard. But if we go from 0 and slowly bring it back up. Just maybe the 40. This song is really weird. I don't like it. Next. And then let's brush out the car. Get out of here. One thing we can do to make this a lot easier is go to the original photo. Oh my God, why is that happening to me? And select subject. And once again, if you circle the car, there you go. That's how it works. You have to circle the car. It's a fact. Then we go up here to the color. We hit Alt and mask. Then that masks out the car. Then what I want to do is because I don't want the blue to hit the red on the car, but I want it to hit all the dark spots on the car so that the blacks match each other and the blacks don't feel strange and out of place. Because if you get like different blacks on the subject versus the background, you can tell it's chopped. So what I'm going to do is bring out the brush, make it bigger, and then just going to brush in where there's glass and where there's neutral colors. And I'm not going to be super precise with this. Just kind of sloppy enough so nobody recognizes that I did it. But if you were here, you'd be like, ew, that looks like shit. That's what we want. Unashamedly, it looks like shit. Okay, cool. So there we go. I can see underneath the ski rack, there's some nastiness. YouTube is not receiving. YouTube is kind of angry at me. Let me know in the chat if it's really bad. If it's really bad, I will have to address it. But if it's not, then we're going to stick it through. That's pretty good. I do want a little bit of a direction to the headlights. So what I'm going to do is bring out this. And I'm going to use the lasso tool. Let's use a different... Let's pick the center of the headlight. And we want it to come out to here, right? It's very thin. And I know that because I have real references from this car when we shot it before. So I'm going to do radial gradients. And I'm just going to do it in the spot that we selected. Maybe a little bit more. I'm going to deselect it. So now we got that. Looks ugly. I'm going to blur it with Gaussian, so it's a little bit more of an even blur. And let's go to here. And hit OK. We're doing okay, step by step. How's the beard scratch sound? I know you can hear that. Screen. And there we go. We're at least closer now than we were. It's pretty sloppy. It's not very accurate. It's not very good. But it's good enough. Roger, good to see you, man. Stop these car porn videos. Never. You'll never make me. I'm going to bring up the mask, or I'm going to try to mask this and make it a little bit more realistic. I want this to be black, and I'm just going to slowly bring it back with the linear gradient. You can also try to add some more direction to it, but this is super tricky. Trying to get that angle right is not so easy. But it's okay. It's okay. It's not great. It's okay. It's good enough. Good enough is the theme of this stream. Let's see what it looks like if we make a second one and then we move it over to the rear, the further headlight. Looks pretty good. The only problem is the one in front is very bright. Let's go down to 0 and let's start from there. Just so we exercise some restraints. We'll go to 35, maybe 40. And then the back one can be a little bit stronger. Let's go to 0 again. There we go. Okay, looks realistic enough, right? Looks like a hazy day. Maybe there's some exhaust getting kicked up. It's a little bit long still. There we go. Just gonna bring it back a little bit with the mask. Command S, I'm pretty happy with it. Let's hit save. Now watch as it gets ultra choppy and slow. I'm sorry for that, ladies and gentlemen. My computer is underpowered and I am underprivileged to buy a new one. But if enough of you keep watching and hit the subscribe button and come back every single Wednesday at 6 o'clock Central European time, maybe I'll be able to afford a new computer. Who knows? I can sell some ad space. I can monetize these videos. I can beg for donations. Try to scam you out of your money by just showing you pretty cars and colors. I believe in us. We can do that. Okay, cool. So we're back in Lightroom. I've saved it and went back to Lightroom. We're back in Lightroom now. Oops. That sounded a little too close to okay something else, and my phone thought I was talking it. Here we go. Now comes the adding punch and contrast and all that fun junk. Let's see. Where do we start? I usually try to start with contrast. The only problem with contrast is it bumps the highlights up quite a lot. So I try to combat that by bringing them back down. And then maybe it's pretty foggy, so maybe some dehaze. Clarity. Clarity, now you can start to see the trees. Okay. 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 I'm cool with that. Sweet. Blacks. Done. All the way down to 20. And the whites, we will maybe just bring down the exposure altogether. Just a little bit. It's a little bit overexposed. Okay, cool. All right. I have to restrict myself. Otherwise, I'll go too far. It happens all the time. Reds. If I touch the reds, the only thing that's going to happen is the car is going to change. And I kind of like that. So let's play with it. Oh, yeah. We want a little bit of punchiness. It's guards red. It's a cool, classic Porsche color. The first 911 was available in that color. And we want to be proud of it. So one thing we can do is select subject. Was the beard scratch? Wow. Once again, if you circle it, it does a better job. Everybody knows that. It's a fact. Hey, yeah, okay, there we go. Nice. We did it. And then we're just going to add some more dehaze, a little bit more punch to the car, just so the car stands out a bit more. Oh, look at this. Look at this bad boy back here. You know what? If I had more time and willpower, and I did when I first edited this photo, I would get rid of that van. But you guys aren't lucky enough to see me in that kind of productiveness. So, happy with that. I want to bring out the rims a bit. I think they should be a little bit more in focus. So what I'm going to do is, well, there's a siren. Oh no, whoop. There's the sound of the police. That's the extent of my classic rap knowledge. And I apologize. I subjected you to it. Maybe not exposure. Let's drop exposure and then let's go just whites. Just whites is going to add more punch than exposure would. And it's also going to leave the blacks alone, which is cool because you'll get a lot more contrast that way. And it's more appealing to me, at least. No words. Get out of here. Any music with words gets chopped immediately. This is better. Editing with ASMR, beard scratch, breaks to keep focus for audience. Yeah. Yeah, I know after a half hour of me doing this, you probably want some breaks with some beard scratches. It's just part of the game. Now I'm going to add some vignetting to get rid of some of this brightness on the edges because you see it's kind of blown out here in the snow. So I'm just going to save the highlights a little bit because it's just going to make them gray. But let's at least push the focus into the photo. That's not so bad. That's not so bad. I'm okay. I'm pretty happy with that. It's not as good as the first edit, but I'm pretty happy with that. Sebastian says, if only my car would stay as clean as that 964 through winter. I don't know how he does it, man, because on the way up on this day that we shot, it was snowing like, well, it was raining like crazy. And Ring 3 was incredibly muddy and incredibly brown, and my car looked horrible. But yeah, whoever ceramic coated his car, if it's not ceramic coated, that's impressive. But yeah, that's impressive. I got to get some tips. I got to get some tips. But anyway, speaking of tips, that's how it's done. That's how it's done. We're going to move on to the next photo. It's been a while since I've seen this photo and since I've played with it. It's a lot bigger. There's a lot more going on. And before we get started on that, you know what it is. I'm going full screen mode. That is right. I have taken over your TV, computer, phone, whatever it is, with just my face, and I apologize. Look, there's a hair light now. You can see there's a little bit of, oh yeah, just a little hair light. That's cool. I set that up today, and I'm very proud of myself. Didn't die, didn't shock myself. Pretty stoked. How are you guys doing? What's going on in your world? I shot all these photos on the Sony A1. It's a dope camera. That's all I gotta say. Google it, dog. If you like what you see for some reason, you can hit subscribe and you can see more of it. Every Wednesday at 6 o'clock Central European time, I will be streaming. And for those of you who are here, you get an applause. You get an applause. Thank you for being here. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Kyle, and let's move on. Let's move on. Back to the screen you wish was on the whole time, but I keep robbing from you. Yeah, here we go. So we're going to start the same way we always do. This was shot on the 50 at f2.0. I don't know why. I think I meant to put something in the foreground so it would make it a little bit more like deep, but I didn't. And here we are. That's my real voice, by the way. I wish it was. That'd be cool. Let's just start by adding some contrast. Maybe save some of the highlights because it's really bright up top. It's pretty hazy, but I don't want to get too much of that or get rid of too much of that. Just a little bit, maybe. If we click select subject, what happens? Okay, here we go. We got to circle really hard. You circle really hard. It will pick the right subject. Come on. No. The circles let us down. They let us down. So I can either spend my time just using the minus tool, or I can just do it by hand. Because I want to highlight the car and I want to get more punch in the car. So what I'm going to do is zoom in on the car. Here we go. Okay, cool. We got it. We're there. Zoom in on the car. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you aren't in chat, join the chat. It's dope. It's the dopest. Only the coolest people hang out in the chat. Only the coolest people. Probably my favorite people. The other people, I mean, I like you, but you're not my favorite by far. So what we're doing is we're just adding some punch to the car. Just a little bit. Just so the car stands out a bit more when you first look at the photo. Maybe some dehaze. Oh man, dehaze got carried away. I noticed we have hit a lot of stuff in the background. So let's just get rid of it. Let's just hope the auto mask knows what it's doing. It's not making a huge difference. Well, you win some, you lose some. We're staying there. So it goes. How you guys doing? What's going on? What's going on in your world? When's the last time you took a photo? When's the last time you just went out, got your camera, took a sweet photo, came home and was stoked? It's like a workout, right? The moment you get the workout in, it feels like the day has been a success. Whatever else happens is a bonus. You can just sort of move on with your life. I'm just going to play around. Just play around. I got no plan here. Just going to move sliders until it makes sense to me. How much of this is green? Just that. Okay. Well, now you're going to be blue. What's up? This is how I actually edit, by the way, when there's no cameras on me. I talk to the photo. Try to hear it out. What's going on in your life, photo? Tell me what you want from me. What would you like me to do? No blues? Cool. Done. Nope. Photo, you lied. You lied to me. I don't like it. Special. Have you done any video work on the A1? Not yet. Not yet. I think at that point I might just give it to Mats. Mats is a lot better with that stuff than I am. I know that. I'm going to make it look like duty. I will. I'm not much of a video person. My sentiment has always been that there are so many other people who are better at filming than I am, that why would I steal work from them? I mean, they work harder at it. They earned it. I wouldn't say yes to a film job that I wasn't sure that Mats or someone else could do better than me. That's my mentality. Also, it saves me time by letting other people do it. Right? That's what it's all about. Okay, cool. I'm happy here. I think this is good. Let's hit Command E and we'll send it to Photoshop and I will see you guys over there. In the meantime, I'll be hanging out here. What's up? Just hanging out. Me and chat. What's going on, chat? You guys good? What happened today? What happened in your world? What's going on in your world? You guys gotta talk to me. It's not just about me talking to myself. Talking to a little fluffy microphone thing. Although I do like it. I don't have a nickname for my microphone. Did you guys notice that I customized my microphone? I painted it gold. It's kind of dope. When life gives you lemons, ain't that shit gold? That's a reference some of you might not get. Where do we go from here? Moody? We like Moody. What about Mean Green? Mean Green is pretty cool because it adds like a... Oops. I need a new layer first. It adds like a cinematic touch to the whole thing, like a soft cinematic vibe. We'll go soft lights. Start at 0 and work our way up. Let's do that. You know what? Let's do it with the same style that we did with the photos from the last stream and just see what happens. See what happens. One thing I'm sure none of you like is these bad boys back here. Yeah, how are we going to tackle this? Let's get ambitious. let's see what happens. The lines don't line up, but it's close enough, right? Oh yeah, looking good. It just looks like someone was drunk when they painted the road. There we go. A little bit better. Turn looks like duty. No, that doesn't make it any better. Whatever. It's a good enough kind of situation, I think. I'm just going to use the clone stamp tool and just hit it mad quick. Oops. We're going to put a second rock there. Whatever. Dwayne The Rock Johnson. 2 in 1. Pretty cool. This is, by the way, how you can tell when somebody's photoshopped, or at least done like a really lazy Photoshop, is when you have repetition. I'm not going to be that lazy because it's easy to fix. Sebastian, hey, that is exactly what I think about photos. So many talented photographers, and I feel like my video style is more me than my photos are. Yeah, I mean, there are people who can do both really well. I don't know if there are that many in Oslo. I know a lot of still photographers who can direct really well, who can create a story. But in terms of actually holding the camera, I don't know. I don't think Oslo's that good at that. I don't think anywhere's that good. I think it's a divide and conquer sort of vibe that we need to just lean into. Command S, saving. I think it's cool. I think it's good enough. One thing that's cool about the car is that it's painted in crayon, or as the Americans call it, chalk. And that paint sort of absorbs whatever color the light drops on it. So it's pretty cool to just lean into that and let the car be whatever color the car wants to be. This guy can just fuck right off. All these little sticks in the background too, I would get rid of typically. And this little guy, I mean, I like what you're doing here, but you can't do it here. We'll just move that out of the way. Get rid of this bad boy. And then maybe clone stamp some of this gray duty that snuck its way into the photo. Let's put a little tough to grass there. There you go. Looks real enough. And then we have to save it again because that's part of it. How far does my mic stand reach? Pretty far. What do you think of this content, by the way? It's just me moving mic stands. I touch the mic a lot, I noticed. I've watched back some of the videos. And when I'm not editing, my hands have nothing to do. Devil's tools or whatever the saying is. And I tend to just move this thing around. What's up? Talking real close. Ooh. ASMR. What do you think about that? Pretty cool. All right, cool. We're getting hungry. I can tell. You know how I can tell? Because I'm getting stupider. Let's go to the presets. We saved the preset from the last one. And this is the kind of photo that I think it would fit on. Never just force presets, by the way. There's no point. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And 90% of the time it doesn't work. So never force it. But for this one, pretty cinematic, pretty cool. I think we need to dial back some of the blue a little bit. Pretty dramatic. So let's just do that. Oh, it looks like, yeah, I don't like that style at all. That's not my style. Yeah, that's like copy paste Instagrammer bullshit. Let's fix that. We're gonna keep it clean. You know what? We're gonna keep it clean. This isn't the type of photo that we're gonna use the preset. See, presets don't work all the time. They don't even work 5% of the time. They work like 2% of the time. Let's force some of the focus back onto the car by using the linear gradient. And because the car is going the direction of the vacation, it is not going the direction of home. Let's add a slight lean to that linear gradient. Right about there. Pretty good, I think. And then let's brighten up the destination. So we're gonna take a radial gradient. We're just gonna throw that over here, let it reach all the way across the photo so it's not super obvious. Can you hear me, by the way? I wasn't really talking on the mic there. Oof. Heaven forbid nobody can hear me for a second. I just talk to myself. Just gonna brighten that up a little bit. The one thing I don't like is that it's really blue over here. Not a huge fan. So let's see if we can get rid of it. Linear gradient. Adjust the saturation a little bit, and let's right about there. Cool, perfect. Good enough. Kari thought that was funny. The beard thing, I guess. I assume nothing else I said was funny. So if you want to make it like extra moody, you can take the blacks in the tone curve and just flatten them up. Loud and clear. That's good. Okay, cool. So I can talk a little bit above the microphone. It doesn't have to hide my face, and you guys can still hear me. If you do flatten, try not to just go with the stereotypical flatten blacks like this. Try to actually keep some of the contrast. So move it a bit inward and really look at your before and after. Like really look at your before and after and make sure that's what you want out of the photo. Because 90% of the time is not. You want the punch. You don't really want that weird kind of flat old school Instagrammer look, which would be something like this. And that's not what I want. Reset channels. You know what? This might be one where like the more I play with it, the worse it gets. So let's try to add a bit more direction and let's call it there. There you go. And by direction, what I mean is like storytelling. You add direction to the photo by sort of giving it almost like a velocity, right? You give the photo a speed, you give it a way to go. So for example, if I darken this side of the photo and keep this light, your eyes naturally want to just be guided from this part of the photo over this way. So you're going to try to find the subject first, and then from there, you're going to try to figure out the rest of the story. It naturally happens. That's how a photo works. So you're going to look, here's the car, here's the subject, and you're just going to sort of, the subject's going that way. Otherwise, there's no point to a photo, right? If you don't have a story in the photo, what's the point of taking the photo? It's just shapes and colors. We want a story. We want like some sort of narrative. What I'm going to do is brush out the road so the whole road becomes, this might be a risk, but that way the whole road becomes like a more attractive thing to look at. A little bit more a part of the story. And if we go before and after, quite a lot changed, maybe a little bit too much, but you know what? I'm in that mood. One thing I am going to do is nothing. No, cool. All right, cool. That one's done. How we doing? How's everybody doing? Everybody good? Everybody in the chat? Everybody hanging out? Having a good time? I'm glad you're here. Let's go back over it. So, the before, this is how we started the first photo. And the after is here. Whoa, big change. Big change. Lots happened. It was a fun journey. I had a good time. Thank you very much. Once again, story, right? We want a story. If you hit the snow a little bit too fast, like if the shutter speed is too high, I kept it at 1/25 of a second, so a little bit slower. You end up getting like no movement to the snow. Whereas in this one, you have the snow, you see there's some motion blur to it. You want that. That motion blur kind of creates a story. It creates a lot of hecticness, a lot of almost like noise within a photo, a lot of action. That's the best word I can come up with. I'm not that poetic right now. But it gives it movement, and it gives you the idea of the car being a little bit more extreme than it is, because the car's not moving. It's not doing anything. It's barely even on. I don't think the engine was running at this point. It's a very docile creature, but when you put it in such an intense environment, it sort of gives the car more personality. And that's what I wanted out of that photo. Also, you keep some of the tire tracks. I would have deleted these if I had more time. I think they're a bit distracting because they are in focus. But you keep these tire tracks. Once again, more story. You know what was happening before this. You know the car was sideways. And that's cool for story. And speaking of story, we had this photo. Let's go to before. This is the before, a little bit more saturated, a little bit more color, a little bit brighter. And then we just sort of dialed it back again, gave the car a bit more focus on its own by getting rid of some of the distractions up here, some of the distractions back here, and adding some gradients to sort of control the direction of the lighting a bit more. And what that does, once again, is it gives it a story. The car started here, it's going to here. You know its final destination is out here somewhere, but you don't know exactly where it is. And there's something kind of cool about that. It's a mystery. And it works well with a foggy, hazy environment. So once again, the story is like freedom, is adventure, is playfulness. That's the idea. That's what we want. With that, I'm going full screen mode. Today's going to be a short one. It is what it is. But it is Wednesday, and I am happy to be here with you. But that is going to be the last photo. I know. So sad. So sad. But I got to eat today. I've been working out hard. Been working out super hard. By the way, if you're in the chat, this is your last chance to say hello. If you're not in the chat, this is your last chance to get into the chat and say hello. I'll be here for about 2 more minutes, so I'm going to read whatever you guys are typing. I'm going to finish strong. My name is Kyle. Good to see you. Glad you're here. Every Wednesday at 6 o'clock. If you made it this far in the stream, super proud of you. If you made it this far in the YouTube video, couldn't be more proud of you. Dog, you made it. Fists. Does PewDiePie have that? Can I give a fist bump to the camera, or is PewDiePie going to sue me? How does that work? Christian Rold, image making. Hello. Hello, Christian. I'm happy you're here, man. Happy you're here. Stoked to make more images with you, the image maker himself, Mr. Christian Rold. Glad you made it, man. Glad you made it. Glad you all made it. I had a good time. Give it a like if you're stoked. Subscribe if you're not. And I think I might have said everything I need to say. One last thing I do feel like I need to say. There was a very sad loss over last weekend. Tom Brady beat the shit out of the Eagles. Once again, I'm happy we made it that far. Who would have thought we made it to the playoffs? To all the Eagles fans, to all the Philly people, I'm proud of us. We've got 3 picks in the first round of next year's draft. We're going to do it big. Next year, we're doing it big. We're coming back strong. For now, whatever, go Tom Brady or something. I hope he retires this year. Finally, he's not going to, and he's going to win that ring. So, thank you everybody for trying. And thank you, those of you who made it to the stream, for showing up. And for those of you watching the video after the fact, please subscribe. I will see you Wednesday, 6 o'clock Central European time next week. That is it. I'm out. Peace.